Hello and welcome to Sports Council, your playbook for all things sports. I am your host Matt, and I'm here with G and Gemmar for this episode of the show. We're going to court this episode, Fantasy Court. We will be holding fantasy trials for some of the biggest names in the NFL this season for their crimes against the fantasy football community. We will also recap Week 13 in fantasy football, and we will share our starts and sits for Week 14. Today is December 2nd, 2025, and this is episode 198 of the show. Here we go, boys.
Episode is in order?
Episode is in order. We may proceed.
Whoa. Oh, man.
Hello.
One of the most exciting episodes of the year. I think me and Matt Ford always look forward to this episode.
It makes for some great role play for sure. I think, I had a law school dream once upon a time, and this is my best way to enact that out.
I had a role-playing dream with Matt, and this is how I acted out.
Don't we do that every week?
Okay, with that being said, we are Sports Council. I'll tell the people where they can find us. How about it, huh? Go to your favorite social media, whatever you use to get to where you need to get to. You're going to go to your search bar on your favorite social media. You're going to search up sports_council. That's our handle on all social media. So I'm talking Twitter, X, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. I don't know what else there is. If there is, we're probably on there. And that's why it's sports_council. Couldn't be simpler for you guys. Go follow. It's free. And then when you get to our social media, go to our bio. There's a Discord link. You can join that for free as well. Get some more Sports Council. You get to talk to Matt, me, Gemmar, everybody else in the Listener League. All our other listeners have discussion, talk about the Fantasy League, especially with the playoffs coming around. There's got to be some questions. Unless you're not playing it right, come join, come ask us questions, all for free. What else could it be? Sports Council, and that's sports_council.
Join us right now. I know it's the end of the regular season for fantasy, so, a couple of our listeners may be eliminated. Hopefully you're not, because you've been listening to our podcast and you've gotten all the right information and advice, so you're heading to the playoffs as we speak. It's going to be absolutely crucial that you make the right decisions for the fantasy playoffs, so follow along. Keep listening to our advice. We're going to get you all the way to the championship. We are not stopping at this point. So sports_council on all platforms. All right. So we got a Week 13 Listener League recap. I know that, we're just itching to go for these fantasy trials, but we do have to recap Week 13 in our Listener League, and we do have a special guest coming back to do that for us. I got to get a chance to talk with our podcaster Dylan last night to talk about the state of our Listener League, so why don't you check it out? All right. This is our Week 13 Listener League recap, and if you're not a part of our Listener League, you can obviously skip ahead, but you should stay tuned because we have a very special guest returning from his Thanksgiving holiday as well as from international. It is our podcaster Dylan. Hey Dylan, how was New Zealand?
It was great, man. It's totally different from back in California. It's like a whole different environment over there. It was amazing. And made me feel rejuvenated to finish the rest of fantasy football this season.
That's good to hear. And I heard that you had a very big rivalry win against Nando. We covered it a couple weeks ago, but you did it internationally as well. So nice work there.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
It's already slipped your mind because it was like a blip on your radar.
Yeah, because right now all I'm focused on is making a deep run in the playoffs. And be able to get that W, get that championship again.
You're locked in. I like to hear it. Why don't you recap us for Week 13 here?
Yes. So let's get to it. So to recap Week 13 of the 6th Annual Sports Council Listener League, we're starting off with Ugly Kid or Atlanta Falcons losing to Microphone Assassin or J-Rock E-Kittens with a score of 124.32 to 124.76. What a very nail-biting loss or nail-biting win, depending on which perspective you're on. But losing 0.44 has got to hurt.
This is the saddest thing I've ever seen. Oh my God. If I was Ugly Kid and I lost in that way, I don't think I'd check the app for a very long time. I'd immediately just go to sleep and just be depressed because, that's a terrible loss, first of all, because it was a Monday night game. J-Rock was down like 20 something and he had Jackson Dart and Travion Henderson still to go. And they just barely did it. It was like a Jackson Dart, like garbage time passes that just got him up. And I saw it and I felt so bad for Ugly Kid. And I don't like to root listener versus listener. I don't have rooting interest, but I was rooting for Ugly Kid in this because I wanted all of our league to be able to have a chance to compete for the playoffs in the last week of the season. So this would eliminate Ugly Kid, barring any stat corrections. So tough. A tough season for Ugly Kid. My heart goes out to you, man.
Do we really feel bad for him after he made that trade with G the other week? I don't. And
Damn,
I really
Dylan.
don't like him. I don't really like him giving away the house to G.
Trades
And now
are
G has
subjective.
really well. This trade is a little sus. You ask me. I mean, giving away Gibbs.
Hey, man. Trades are subjective. He made a trade, and it hasn't looked great so far. He's just going to have to live with it now.
It is what it is, and all we can do is put our best foot forward for each team and just hope that G has like a really bad week during the playoffs.
Damn.
That's all we can hope for at this point. You
got a league villain then.
That's all we can hope for. But on to our next matchup. King Mini Whoop'em losing to Decker 99, or I was 7-1, 89.46 to 94.62. I believe this is the lowest scoring total combined for both teams compared to all the other matchups. It must have been a very down week for both teams.
It was a shit off. Midi is our number 1 seed and not anymore because he just lost, and he was projected for 147. He put up 89 points, not even 90 points. And I think a big part of it is because Jackson Smith and Jigba, he's been incredibly solid for the entire season. He's been averaging like at least 15 a game, and he put up 4. And I think that's the biggest shocker of the season, that, he was finally, throttled down. Like, you thought this guy was invincible, but he's capable of a dud game. He lost by 5. I mean, if he just put up his regular numbers, he would have won this game. Tough loss for Midi there. Decker getting back on the right side of things. Stopped the losing streak. So,
stop the
there you
bleeding.
go.
And just to point, as the kicker guru, you have Harrison Butker with only 4 points.
Who should he have started, Dylan?
There's so many good options. I mean, come on now. Like, you have Jason Myers. You have the guy from, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but the guy on the New England Patriots. He just had a really good game today. Borregales.
Yes, give him respect. Put some respect to his name.
Andy Borregales.
Mm-hmm.
But it demonstrates that every player on the team that you start is important, regardless, even they have a bad game, which is why
Kicker lives matter.
Yeah, kicker lives matter. And showing up matters as well.
Damn. Dylan, you're pretty savage ever since you got back from New Zealand.
Dude, New Zealand is different, man. It's different. Anyway, we have our fellow podcast alumni, Gav, or Loser Mental Have an Ass, winning against G. Cassie, or Fourth Down Syndrome, with a score of 143.64 to 99.20. So a blowout win for Gav this week. And yeah, looking at his team, I mean, CD Lamb with 24. I'm happy that CD is back in normal form or top form. Jameson Williams, can't believe it, 26 points.
I mean, I think Gav's negative reinforcement energy seems to always make his team bounce back. When he renamed his team to Loser Mental Having Ass, it must have sparked something within his team. And they put up the 3rd most points in the week. And then Gemmar, he puts up under 100 against his buddy. Zay Flowers, the criminal culprit there, 0.6 points. And then Parker Washington with 3.6.
Leave him alone. Leave Zay alone.
I will treat him how he was supposed to be the start of the week.
Lamar's
he disappointed, so I am going to bash him however I choose. I should have never chosen him.
Doesn't know that there's 3 wide receivers out there that he could throw to. And
if he didn't fumble, maybe he should have just not fumbled.
Is Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry's good. He scores touchdowns, unlike Zay.
Zay can be great too if he got the opportunity.
When was the last time Zay even had a touchdown?
Week 1.
Yeah. We're not in September anymore. No more excuses.
Congrats, Gav, wherever you are. Congrats on the win. So, on to our next matchup. We have T Nando 41, fellow podcaster, or my nemesis, losing to Bryant, another podcaster of ours, with a score of 118.04 to 119.70. So another nail-biting win for Bryant. Fernando, tough loss. And I see he's also on the kicker guru.
Insane.
Kicker Lives Matters. Evan McPherson, 24 points. Hey, man, kickers, I'm telling you, they're slept. Get on the fantasy waiver wire, man. Find that kicker. That'll make or break your matches.
Yeah, he won the kicker battle 24-0 because Will Reichert on Bryant's side had a 0. But then Chamiri Dike and Amon-Ra St. Brown combined for a negative 0.10 points in Nando's lineup. And he probably could have used a 1 point from any of them. And Bryant won this on a nail-biter because Theo Johnson on Monday Night Football just got enough to beat him by 1. So Bryant is still in it. And Nando didn't get lucky this time, unfortunately.
And I see he has DJ Moore too. He has another Bears player, but I don't know what Caleb's doing over there, man. Oh, and also the generational tight end, Kyle Pitts.
He actually did well. Yeah.
I mean, I guess Kyle is starting to become that generational tight end now.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's year 4 or whatever. It's time to move on.
Anyway, our second to last matchup, we have our fellow podcaster, G, or Less Garbage Team, losing to our fellow podcaster, Matt, with a score of 116.74 to 150.08. So you really gave him the belt to ass this week, huh?
Man, I mean, I think me and G discussed the matchup a little bit last week, and I said I had like a 24% chance of winning, according to Sleeper. And I've been hearing some grumblings lately from, a couple of unknown people. I won't, call them out by name. You might have heard some of it already tonight, but people were saying that, G's team is unstoppable. He's basically won the league already with his tremendous amount of talent. And I agree, he has a very formidable lineup. I was very scared that I was going to lose this game. But I wanted to do this, not only because I needed this to get into the playoffs, but I want to show everybody that anything is possible. This season is not over yet. And G still has a great team. He's still going to make the playoffs and win probably. But keep playing. Keep playing. You never know what's going to happen.
You got to go down with the ship, right?
Yeah, man. And see, you can still win. So keep fighting. Let's keep doing this. We're in the playoffs, Young Men's Club. Let's go.
It also doesn't help that Jetta is low-key kind of useless now with those quarterback changes.
Yeah, so the biggest thing that swung this matchup was that he had the Rams defense, who was surprisingly put up 2 points. And he had Justin Jefferson, as we mentioned from a trade earlier. And I had the Seahawks defense, who scored 32 points. So that pretty much swung the game right there. Jettis only scored 2, and the Seahawks alone scored 32. That was pretty much it. GGG, you're not on the recap today, and I understand it, but, always next week, always the playoffs.
Come on, G, you gotta come on when you take the L, man. You gotta own up to it, bro.
I'm sure we'll see him soon.
So, to round out week 13, we have my team, whole lot of baby mamas, beating D Romeo 7 or Celtics with a score of 163.06 to 111.44. I remember looking at this matchup. Once Lamar had like 7.5, I had a feeling that I was able to take it. And this week I actually started Trevor Lawrence over Baker Mayfield because lately Baker's been playing like dog shit. Not gonna lie, my whole team had a really solid performance. I mean, Bijan Don Juan, RB Winston.
There you go.
I mean, Devontae Adams, low key kind of touchdown vultured. Puka, Brock Bowers, Booty with 13 tonight against the New York Giants. And again, I'm going to keep preaching it, but kickers' lives matter, man. I mean, Jason Myers, 19 points. That's more than some of the running backs or some of the wide receivers that I have. So the keys to winning your matchup, get a good kick, find a kicker on the waiver wire, pick them up, swing the favor.
You had just a solid, game on all fronts. You didn't even mention the Patriots defense who scored a touchdown on a punt return. So that's how you score 163, which is just effort on every single player in your lineup. So
exactly.
Very impressive win. That clinches you in the playoffs as well.
Yes. So to recap the entire seeding, we have first place, we have Matt, Young Men's Club 3, younger than ever. Number 2, we got Mitty Whipham. Number 3, Decker 99, or I was 7-1. Then you have myself, whole lot of baby mamas at 4th. Number 5, G or Less Garbage Team. Number 6, D Romeo 7, Celtics. Number 7, we have G Dot, Cassie or 4th Down Syndrome. Then just on borderline playoff contention. Number 8, we have Bryant or We Are So Back. And now in the hunt, number 9, we have Gav or Loser Mental Have an Ass. Number 10, Microphone Assassin or J-Rock Eakins. Number 11, we have Nando or T Nando 41. And number 12, Ugly Kid this year or the Atlanta Falcons. To recap week 13 of the 6th Annual Sports Council Listener League.
That means we have 4 teams that are tied for 6 and 7. Whoa, 6-7. And then we have Nando still in the hunt.
Are you doing the hands too?
Yeah, I'm doing the hands. You can't see it, but I'm doing the hands right now. But just how we wanted it, 5-way tie. And that means the playoffs are not decided yet. We have 4 teams, the top 4 that Dylan just mentioned, all clinched the playoffs. Everything else is still up for grabs. It should be a very competitive final week in the Listener League. It is going to be very exciting.
This is like the National League. Or NFC.
Like the NFC?
Yeah.
That's what happens. Everybody's competing. Like we got our, expert podcasters, and we have a lot of them, and they're all doing their thing. And then we got some great listeners right now. They're doing their thing. They're listening to our advice. And we have a good mix of both listeners and podcasters in the playoffs right now. And you could understand why. It's a very competitive league. Should be a lot of fun. I very much like seeing my team at the top right here. So I think I'm going to just, I clinch playoffs, but I still want to see my team get the first seed. So it's not going to be easy next week.
All right. Yeah. That recaps this week's results. And now we go into I believe, the topic of the week.
Yep. What do you have in mind for us, Dylan? You scored 163. You are the top listener topic. We only get 2 of these left, so you're the second to last one. So what do you have for us?
So my question is more like an ethical question, because this past Saturday in college football, we saw Ohio State go into Michigan and being Michigan at their home turf. And what I noticed was at the end of the game, the Ohio State players wanted to plant the flag in the middle of the field, but their coach, Ryan Day, essentially told all of them to stop doing it and go back into the locker room. So my question is, what's your take when you see a winning team, they beat you fair and square, and they're able to do kind of like somewhat petty stuff? Or I guess you can call it petty, but just doing that type of action at the end of the game when, let's say, your team loses, or is that acceptable?
It's acceptable. I mean, of course, that's just sports. It's sports. It's not supposed to be the most serious profession out there. I know, in the National Football League, you obviously get paid. You're professionals. You're supposed to act like professionals, but come on, we're all playing a kid's game here. So I'm a big believer in treat others the way you want to be treated, right? So personally, for me, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't plant the flag. Like, even, when we're recapping the Listener League, me and G, obviously good friends here, but I wouldn't shit talk. I don't like shit talking. G, sometimes he likes to shit talk. I don't do that. Yeah. Because I don't want to get that when I lose. So I don't shit talk. I usually try not to because you never know what's going to happen when it bites you in the ass. So, like, if Ohio State planted that flag, that's fine. But just expect it to happen to you next time. And you can't feel, like, oh, I feel, this is wrong. I never would have done
I
this.
feel
Well,
some
you
type
did
of
do
way.
it. Right? Yeah.
I think I have to agree with you on that aspect too, because like I think because I do competitive sports or water sports like dragon boat, and like I
Hmm.
think if you win, right, you can. I mean, it's not great to showboat, but if you won the whole thing, then you could do whatever you want, and like it's just be ready for what's gonna come after you if you don't win the next time around, right?
You,
It's like you gotta be able if you're gonna dish it, you gotta be able to take it, right?
exactly. I mean, have you ever even gotten close to like doing anything like that? Like you put the boat in what, their bay? I have no idea what you guys do
No,
there.
I seen some people where they like stand up from their seat while in the boat and just like celebrating like super obsessively
Hmm.
or like very showboaty. And I think from a competitive standpoint, like I get it. Let your emotions out to
Hmm.
me, and like I understand where it's coming from. I mean, if you lost that day, you can't really do anything about it. You just got to take it to the chest, right? And just take the L, right?
Have you
You
ever
can't
tried to use your paddle and you did a bat flip with it?
no.
That's what you should
I
do.
never
That's what you should do next time.
backflip into the water.
No. You know, like a bat flip, right? Like when a player
Oh,
hits
yeah,
a
yeah,
home
yeah.
run and they flip the
Yeah,
bat.
yeah, yeah.
After the
Mhm.
race, you should
Oh,
take your paddle and you should flip it into the water like a bat flip.
basically like
And
it's
then do
like
a backflip
oh,
into the water.
it's like in baseball.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never done that because I don't want to throw my paddle. I love my paddle, but um, but I people can get pretty emotional, or they can express. They can be very expressive, and I think you
Mm.
just have to, if you lose again, you just gotta take it, right? You can't. Don't be like a sore loser or something like that.
What about trash talking in fantasy football, though? Have you ever, Dylan, have you ever changed your name in a
I
in a
have changed my
petty
name.
trash talk win?
I did to Nando when I used to change it to this was how long ago was it? To
I feel
A
like it was not that
Lexus?
long ago.
It
Yeah.
was A Lexus. I hope
Yeah,
you're
I
doing
wonder.
okay.
Jeez. Jeez. So clearly pettiness is okay in fantasy football then.
I think we all do it. I think we all do it in fantasy football.
In a way. I'm not gonna
In a
say
way.
shit. I don't say shit until I'm holding the trophy. That's how far I'll take it.
Yeah, that's kind of like my interpretation of it because I know, yeah, just Ohio State and Michigan just has this big rivalry against each other. So I think
Mhm.
that's something like it's worth talking about.
Yeah, I mean, great topic, Dylan. Great topic. Pettiness in sports. Are you gonna, if you win the championship, what are you gonna do?
I remember the last time I won, I just talked about Cooper Cup's foundation or charity.
You're not gonna shit talk anyone this time?
Probably not. I was like, I'll just take the win, move on, get ready
Damn.
for the next one.
Classy man.
Maybe talk shit before the match if I get there.
I feel like I don't believe you because you just talk shit on like hella people in this recap. So we'll see. We'll see. But that was our Listener League recap for week 13. Thank you so much, Dylan, for coming on to do this recap.
Thank you, Matt.
All right. And we're going to send it back to the podcast. All right. Thank you so much, Dylan, for coming back on to do that. 1 week left, guys. It is tight right now. Pause.
Oh my God. I'm in like the last leg. I'm fighting for playoff just to get in. I'm at the door. It all
You're in
comes
7
down
right
to
now,
this
right?
week. It is, but like even if I lose or win, I'm still scared of like what position I might be. So it's all up in the air right now. I just know I have to win. I win, I get in basically. But oh, it's the last week.
How do you feel about your chances right now? You're going up against Celtics.
You know, this is why it's bad. It's bad because we're both in the same position where we both have to win to get in. So all else has to fall in our favor if one of us loses. But we're jockeying out for the win, and the projections don't look that well in my favor at all. So I'm scared.
Jesus, man.
And it might come down on Monday night, and that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. But I mean, at least you have most of your players there. So hopefully next week, if Jamar's not on the podcast next week, then you know why.
That's why I didn't join the recap. I mean, you guys heard it. I lost to Matt. It was unfortunate.
Yep.
Well, you're still going to make the playoffs, G. And you're going to be an absolute terror. So I need you to stay on the other side of the bracket, as I've already said.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yep. All right, gentlemen, let's not delay this any further. Welcome to Fantasy Trial 2025. Ooh.
Terrifying, Matt.
Your
This
Honor, I'm
is
innocent.
This is by far our favorite segment of the season, and we can only do this when the fantasy football season, the regular season, is coming to a close, right? For months now, we've been complaining, we've been talking about all of these players, and, some of these players we panicked on, and they eventually were able to turn it around. But some players and coaches have committed crimes. They have committed crimes not in real life, but against the fantasy football community, which one could argue is much worse than a regular crime. And there's never justice done about it. So we, as Sports Council, a podcast already with a gavel in its logo, decided to take action and to enact fantasy justice for everybody in the fantasy football community. So we are holding these trials and making sure that these people are brought to justice, or maybe they'll be cleared as innocent until proven guilty. Either way, we have 3 people here, so we have 3 cases. Each one will be given a prosecutor, a defense attorney, and the judge and jury will decide their fate. The prosecution will start first with their player or coach. The defense will go and give a defense of the player/coach. And then we'll get a 15-second rebuttal from the prosecution if they want to clear up any closing arguments. And then we'll hear from the judge or jury whether they're guilty or not. And then if they are guilty, they'll give their sentencing. The punishment must fit the crime. So keep that in mind, judges. Are you ready to go, gentlemen?
Let us start.
I'm ready.
Let's get settled here. Order in the court, order in the court. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Matt is presiding. And in this next case, we have the people versus Kevin Patullo on the charges of identity theft. The prosecutor is none other than G, and the defense is Gemmar. G, you may present your case.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to, bring to light the identity theft that is in front of us. Sometimes you think of identity theft, you think of someone working in the shadows. Think of, someone who has, I would say, a playbook of different ideas, different things he could do. It's quite the opposite here today. Mr. Kevin here has been identity theft as an offensive coordinator for the Eagles. I would beg he's a defensive coordinator where he limits the offense. And it's just, we can't let this go anymore. I want you to first, our judge/jury, I want you to take a look at our Saquon Barkley stats. Do I need to remind you, he had how many yards he had last year? How many people he was jumping over, spinning around? How many long touchdowns and long rushes he had? To what now? What is Saquon Barkley? He's not even here today. He couldn't make it. The offensive line is terrible. The quarterback looks like shit. Let alone one receiver crying. There's a second receiver who hasn't said anything, who won the Heisman not too long ago, hasn't got the ball. This is a travesty, and it's all on the Eagles defensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo. I rest my case.
Compelling case. Will the defense please rise? Gemmar, you may state your argument.
Your Honor, my client, Mr. Kevin Patullo, is innocent because the real guilty man that should be up here in this court instead of Kevin Patullo is his boss, which is none other than head coach of the Eagles, Nick Sirianni. We've seen this before where offense has been struggling a little bit. And if he's the head coach, why doesn't he take over when he sees something like this. Right now, he's committing a crime of himself by aiding, not doing anything, just watching a dumpster fire. He should be sitting in this hot seat instead of Kevin Patullo. He's the one that's making all the big decisions. Nick Sirianni should be here instead of the OC, Your Honor. Instead of Kevin Patullo taking all the heat, I believe all this heat should be on Nick Sirianni, the head coach.
All right. Compelling case by the defense. You have 15 seconds to rebut, prosecutor.
All I want to say is, from my understanding, when the football coach and the offensive coordinator are deciding who calls plays and who does what, the Philadelphia Eagles have decided Kevin Patullo was going to call the plays, design the plays. He is the offensive mind. He's the one replacing Kellen Moore. I directly see you. If not, you're not the main boss. Sure, you want to snitch. Doesn't surprise me. But you are a corporate of this theft.
All right. Well, the jury has now deliberated and they have made their sentencing. Your Honor, we find the defendant, Kevin Patullo, guilty on all charges of identity theft. Plus, the judge has decided to hear the case of Nick Sirianni also being charged with identity theft from the defense, Gemmar, and we have decided to also add him to this case and also convict him guilty of identity theft, being a Super Bowl winning head coach.
Let's go. We got them both, fellas.
We have decided to sentence both Sirianni and Patullo to be doxxed from their homes for Philadelphia Eagles to find them. The worst punishment of all time.
This is beautiful. This has made my day. Thank you. Justice has been served.
Your Honor, I am leaving here with something, and that's Nick Sirianni going.
You got two men convicted. The defense is supposed to have no men convicted.
You got the wrong guy and the right guy.
I'll slide you that money later, man.
I'm sure the Philadelphia Eagles fans outside our cars also convinced the jury to hear. But we are moving on to the next case here.
Order in the court. Order in the court. Court is now in session. Judge Guggen is presiding. In this case, we have the people versus Brian Thomas Jr., also known as BTJ, on the charges of fraud. You may now present your case. The prosecutor is today Gemmar.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm here with Brian Thomas Jr., I'm convicting of fraud. You know, Brian Thomas Jr., he comes from what some might say wide receiver U, the LSU. You know, he came out with his classmate, Malik Neighbors. Him and his friend, his classmates last year, were taking over the next duo of LSU wide receivers. Last year, he was ranked number 4 in fantasy among wide receivers, with quarterbacks of Mac Jones and Trevor Lawrence. So then next year, what does he do? With high expectations, you know, trying to follow up his next sophomore year. I'll give you the first 5 games, Your Honor. 9 points, 8 points, 7 points, 10 points, 12 points. That's the first 5. That's the first 5 games, Your Honor. That's not the Brian Thomas Jr. I know. Last time, he only has 1 top 10 finish this year, Your Honor. 1. Last year, how many did he have top 10 finishes in fantasy? 6. Your Honor, I do not know who is BTJ. I don't know if that is even him. I don't even know if he went to LSU, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you, Gemmar. We can feel your passion. But with that being said, we have the defense. Matt, you may now take the stand.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I just must comment on the beautiful decor. I love what you've done with the place. I love what you've done with the courtroom right here.
Hey, focus.
Suiting. Very fitting.
Hey.
Brian Thomas Jr. is exactly who he is. And he is a good wide receiver. I must argue for the defense of Brian Thomas Jr. because he is not a fraud. But everything around him has changed. How could he possibly put up the same numbers that he was being able to put up with a guy who we know is a fraud in Shane Waldron, his passing game coordinator? And I don't think a lot of people here in this courtroom know that Shane Waldron has been the destroyer of fantasy wide receivers for a very long time. Take a look at this year's current standout wide receiver, Jackson Smith-Njigba. Guess who he played under for the last year in his rookie season? And he was struggling. He wasn't doing anything out there. That's right. Shane Waldron.
Dun, dun, dun.
The true fantasy fraud himself. When he gets hired onto your staff, you know that your numbers are going to go down. So this is the same Brian Thomas Jr. This is not a fraudulent person. He is not committing fraud actively. But Shane Waldron is actually committing fraud for him. And he is making him look like a fraud out there. He is the main culprit you should be targeting. And as well as the fact that, one, he has been hurt. We cannot discount that fact. How could you convict an injured man out there? You can't do that. That's just cruel. And you also have to account for the fact that Jacoby Myers is now there. Brenton Strange is now there. Trevor Lawrence's ass. So many factors come into play here. Brian Thomas Jr. is not a fraud. He is an LSU wide receiver through and through. And usually when it comes to LSU wide receivers these days, they're dealing with terrible situations. He's just like everybody else. I rest my case.
Thank you. Thank you to your defense. Any final words from our prosecutor today?
Yes, Your Honor. I would say, before Jacoby Myers came to the team, Brian Thomas Jr. had no competition coming into the season.
Travis
His
Hunter.
biggest competition? Exactly, a rookie that plays both sides. He wasn't competition at all coming for the wide receiver one position at all. And that Shane Waldron guy, who was in Seattle last season, wasn't Geno Smith not too shabby as well? So, Your Honor, I rest my case.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Whew. The judge and jury have come to their final decision. Brian Thomas Jr., BTJ versus the people.
Oh boy.
We sentence Brian Thomas Jr. as guilty.
Yeah.
10 years of fantasy prison.
10 years.
He's up there with Jalen
What are
Waddle.
we doing here?
With probation after 2.
Probation after 5 games. Your Honor, please appeal.
No, we'll have to send it up to the players.
Does that mean we can't draft him for 10 years?
That means he after 2 we might have to reconsider it.
Oh my lord. That's
He's up there
terrible.
with Kyle Pitts and
He's a
Jalen
fraud.
Waddle.
That means next year he'll have to be good. Then the year after that we might consider it, and then we'll get off.
We're coming
Can we
back.
sell buddies?
We're coming back with this. Yeah, this case is not over. Shane Waldron is walking free as we speak.
We want to keep the main focus here about the fraud, not about whatever you were describing.
I'd argue it's the bigger issue, but I'll lick my wounds and come back later.
All right. Order in the court. Order in the court. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Gemmar is presiding. In this next case, we have the people versus Mike Vrabel / Josh McDaniels on the charges of child neglect. We have the defense of G and Matt. You may present your case.
Thank you, Your Honor. Love what you've done with the place as well.
Wait, let's keep the main thing the main thing. No funny business.
I would never, Your Honor, because this is a pretty open and shut case right here. I always take the biggest cases in fantasy trial because I know that when I see a case as egregious as this, I know that I have to win this for the people, for the fantasy community. A couple years ago, I had a similar case where I charged Mr. Arthur Smith with fantasy terrorism against a certain rookie Bijan Robinson. Now, if the jury and the people and all the listeners out there know, I am a very big supporter of the young men in football. I even founded a young men's club to help foster these young men into adulthood, into their primes of their fantasy.
What are we talking
careers.
about here, Judge?
I'm trying to establish background.
Order in the court. Order in the court.
I'm establishing background here. Because you know that I've taken a particular interest in this case against a young man, a child even, known as Travion Henderson. 4 months now. They have neglected this poor child, Travion Henderson. They let him play a little bit in the summer, and he actually looked really good out there. People could see it. People saw him out there, and he was amazing. And then all of a sudden, they shut him in the house. They don't let him go out. They let this other kid come out, Ramondre. I don't get it. He keeps dropping the ball. He's screwing up every single play. And we've seen it, that Travion Henderson is the more explosive back. He can get more fantasy points. And even though the Patriots offense looks good right now and they're winning games, they could be winning more. The only thing I could think of is that Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels are neglecting children. And we've already seen this with other rookies like Kyle Williams, who's also a rookie, and he barely gets any playing time. But almost half the passes he catches are touchdowns out there. I'm not going to charge him with child abuse because he's not abusing Travion. When he got the chance, and when Ramondre was out for a little bit, he was able to come outside and play. And again, he showed his explosiveness. But what happened once Ramondre was healthy? Look at the stats from last night. Ramondre had more carries than Travion. Again, this is neglect. We can't have this happen right before the fantasy playoffs. Travion looks like the more explosive back every time we see him out there. I personally already lost Travion because I was done with him. I can't handle it anymore. Charge this man. Charge both men. Guilty.
Order. All right. G, you may present your case on the defensive side.
Oh, sorry. I was just taking a nap. That was so bad. Decided not to pay attention. Thank you, Your Honor. We want to start with our facts. Not in my opinion, as the prosecutor here is just continuously just stating his opinion on the matter. Child neglect. What does that mean? Neglecting children. That's what I would say. And for that to be true, wouldn't you have to neglect all the children? Or does that not apply? Or is there just one? Because I would beg to differ. 23-year-old quarterback, I think that classifies as part of the young men's club. QB3. No, wow. QB3, huh? 23 years old, first year starting, second year in the league. That doesn't seem like neglect. That's weird. Henderson, the one you brought up. Your main focus here, right? Let's keep the main thing, as the judge once said. RB 18. Wow. 18. Right outside of a RB1. Huh, that's crazy. A reliable RB2. Oh, wow. RB 26, 22, 3, 4, 15. The last 5 weeks. And you're like, last week he only played less than snaps than Stevenson, less rushes. They're up by 30. What do you do with your starting running back? What are you supposed to do with this precious young running back that you have? You let the veteran get the snaps. Let him have it. It's okay. The game's already over. That's not neglect. That's called smart coaching, and that's what we have here. I just want to look at the facts, and the facts tell me that the young men on their team are being used well. I have examples of their quarterback, their running back. We could even get into their wide receiver. They have many young wide receivers. They're all getting their touches and getting nourished. How could that be neglect? Your Honor, I would just want you to remember of our case last year. This could have been said about young Bucky Irving. At the end of the year, he started getting his touches. And look at what he has become. I would say the same for Henderson. After this bye, he will continue to get his RB1 touches. It's not neglect. I would beg, this is called development, and we could use some more of it. Thank you.
Thank you, G. Thank you for that case. Any rebuttal from that, Matt?
Your Honor, I'd like to bring up that the neglect is from Travion Henderson alone. Drake May, we are okay with him starting, and he had no choice. Tommy DeVito is their backup quarterback right now, and he clearly has mob ties. They're not going to start him. We know this. They had to start Drake May. They should start Travion Henderson. They know they should. But guess what? We could also bring up Exhibit A, eyewitness Terrell Jennings, an undrafted back, also getting more carries to start than Travion Henderson until he was injured, and they had to be forced to bring out Travion Henderson. Antonio Gibson was also getting more snaps than Travion Henderson to start the year until he tore his ACL. Travion was the last man standing, and they were forced to bring him out. into the light for everyone to see. And he shined. And what are they going to do? Put him back in the box. That's neglect right there. Neglecting children. This is egregious. This is terrible. We need to lock him up now.
We need to lock you up.
Why? I want to see the young men play.
You are. We'll have this case later.
All right. The judge and jury has decided on the case. On the trial of Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels, they are sentenced guilty of child neglect
Let's go.
based on fantasy production of what can be Travion Henderson. Focus on fantasy, guys.
Very
We
true.
should also put a trial on Ramondre Stevenson for
Embezzlement.
embezzlement. Yep, aiding and abetting accessory defined.
Does he get the
For,
child neglect charges as well?
No, just aiding for aiding this child neglect
Mm.
of Travion Henderson.
What is their sentence?
Unfortunate.
Oh, their sentence for Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels: 10-month probation.
We'll take that. I'll
Come
take
on,
that as a
man.
win in my
10
books.
months.
I'll take that in my. Thank
Look,
you. Thank
they're
you.
giving-
We'll be ready to do
they're
it
letting-
again at the start of next year.
Yep, they're letting him sing the field, but you gotta keep. I want to see improvement on seeing the field.
I say
With
they should just
Travion.
let a 22-year-old get their job for a couple months.
Can't just be a single back committee. You gotta be a running back by committee.
Well, I feel like justice has been served regardless. That's been a case that I've been holding on to since week 4, so I'm feeling pretty satisfied at this point. That is the end of our fantasy trials for now. We did have a lot of other cases that we could have prosecuted. I'll read a couple of them out. Clint Kubiak for kidnapping a canine. Aaron Rodgers for embezzlement and elderly abuse. That might have been Mike Tomlin as well. DK Metcalf as well for embezzlement. Geno Smith for embezzlement as well. Bo Nix on the account of fraud. There's just so many criminals to prosecute in the fantasy community. We had to take the 3 major cases, but please let us know who you believe should be tried for their fantasy crimes this season. We would very much like to know, and we will make sure that justice prevails.
Wow. Thank you, Matt. You're like the fantasy Batman.
Bringing justice. Did you know that in our first season, we didn't convict Arthur Smith of fantasy terrorism, and we let that man go free, and now he's terrorizing everybody? This is
He's
what
terrorizing my team now.
this is what happens when you don't vote guilty. You have to vote
man.
guilty.
I honestly think Vrabel and McDaniels could have got off today. But 10-month probation, I would take that as a win.
I mean, they're guilty, but I mean,
Not really.
they are. They neglected
They are. They
that
aren't.
man. They are.
Yeah.
But I will concede that they are winning at least. It's not like Arthur Smith and they're losing.
That's true. That's true. Well, that was a perfect segment, I always say.
I love it. I love Fantasy Trial every year. It's a great segment to do at the end of the year. But we must get back to fantasy football here and helping you guys win games. We're not going to complain about the criminals in fantasy anymore. We got to get back to it, get you this last week of the regular season for your playoff pushes. We did not do well, and we will concede that in Thanksgiving weekend. Maybe we took the holiday a little bit early this year, me and G, because we went 6-9-1 on the.
No one else there to
on the
really
6-6.
blame either, huh?
Nope. The good news is
and
that
blame me, guys.
the good news is that we didn't do so bad that we got banned from the graphic. At least we got a couple hits from both sides. I got Patrick Mahomes and Burrow. You got RJ Harvey, Daniel Jones. So we did do pretty well in terms of some guys, but we could have done better, and we apologize for that. We are looking to bounce back this week, and we brought
And
Jamar.
we're starting off good too, man. I really like what we have here on the board. It looks perfect to me. You know what I mean? I look across the names, the teams, everything. It looks perfect.
Yeah, we're not messing around this week. So let me start things off with our quarterback start of the week. I am going with a Thursday night matchup, Jared Goff versus the Dallas Cowboys. One thing that I also have to mention, guys, because I didn't mention it before, I picked both starts against the Cincinnati Bengals, and I said on that podcast that if I got them wrong, I would not be able to choose the Bengals. So you're not going to see any more Bengals starts against the Bengals for now. So I have to go with Jared Goff versus the Cowboys. They are the worst defense right now in terms of quarterback points allowed. In defense, they're allowing 28 points. That's 5 more than the next worst team, which is the Giants.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Things don't look great for the Lions right now. They're missing a lot of interior offensive linemen. Amon-Ra St. Brown is questionable right now, and I don't believe he's going to be ready in time to play for this game. Sam Laporta is also out on IR. So, it doesn't look great on paper, but I'm really just looking for this to be a shootout between two, dynamic offenses. He's still got Jamison Williams. He's still got Isaac Tesla. He's got Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. This is still a very good Lions offense. I think they're still going to be able to get it done. I believe it's at home as well, which is going to be good because the Lions are much more dominant at home. So I think this is going to be a shootout. I like the matchup. I like the defense that they're playing. So give me Jared Goff as a streamer.
All right, nice. Speaking of shootouts, and funny that you said no more Bengals. You're going to start Joe Burrow versus the Buffalo Bills this week. Matt said what he said, but that didn't pertain to me. So,
we're
gonna ride
Bengals, but
sorry. Well, you're gonna ride this momentum of Joe Burrow and the duo Jamar Chase. They got 1 week under their belt. He's come back. He's looked very comfortable. In his first start back last week against the Ravens. The division is up for grabs. If they win out, anything can happen. So it's go time. It's now or never for these Bengals, and the whole locker room knows it. The whole team knows it. So they have to score to win games. They can't rely on their defense. So expect Joe Burrow to have a shootout versus Josh Allen.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty good pick. And Burrow managers rejoice you're getting him back for these last 2 weeks.
God bless America.
Yep. How would you kick things off here, G?
Yeah. From my running back, I picked Brosmer last week for quarterback, so I think I should probably lay off of that this week.
Got banned indirectly.
With running back, I'll pick easy here. I'm going to need a nice little pick-me-up from last week. Give me Breece Hall against Miami. I think the matchup is great. Miami. They're not impressive. And I think Breece Hall is still looking for a contract here, so got to put some good tape out there, right? So if you're not playing for anything else, you might as well play for some money. And I definitely think this matchup is where he can make some. Miami's been kind of a fortune for running backs and mostly any position on offense going against them. Their defense has looked a little bit better recently, but I don't buy it, and I don't think they're going to stop Breece Hall from getting at least 15, 20 points.
Yeah, it's a solid bet. Breece Hall, there's nothing wrong with the talent of the player right now. He's still ripping off these huge 40-yard, catch and runs, and he's still an explosive athlete. It's just hard to trust the Jets, but it should be a closer game at home against Miami. So I like that.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go for the Bengals this time. I'm going to do what Jamar did. I'm going for the Bengals here. I'm going Chase Brown versus the Buffalo Bills. He's my start of the week at running back. Honestly, you should be starting Chase Brown at this point because I know he struggled a bit at the start of the season. He was very close to being, charged with fraud as well in our fantasy trials, but he did turn it around starting week 8. Ever since week 8, and for the last 6 weeks, I believe, he's had 100 yards scrimmage in every single game for the last 6 weeks. And that's a very high floor if you need that. He's been getting at least 2 to 3 receptions per game. I know Samaje Perine is back, and he cut a lot into that, snap share. He was averaging about, 96%, 82%, 89%, and then against Baltimore, he had a 60% snap share. But hopefully that was mostly because of the blowout with Baltimore. And I think Zach Taylor, even though I don't really consider him as a very smart coach, I think that he I was going to say something else, but I think that he is smart enough to know that if you want to win games, you have to win with your best players right now. And against Buffalo, who I think is the second worst defense to running backs right now, which is appalling to me. That's crazy. But it's a very good matchup as well.
And it's been their run defense that they've been giving up the most yards. one of the most yards to running backs, like rushing the ball. And if we're talking Bengals, definitely Chase Brown's a better runner of the ball. P. Ryan gets a lot of the catches and stuff, but just talking strictly running the ball, they should definitely eat this week.
Exactly. So I think he'll continue that streak.
Yeah. I want to start us off for the wide receivers again. I love the matchup here. I love the name too, man. Vele against the Bucks, man. Oh man, I'm riding the hot hand here. You got to pick this guy up, man. I think he's going to be in an offense where they're down basically every game. They're going to be down a lot. Saints defense is non-existent. Offense is actually more competent than expected. If I was allowed to pick a quarterback start, I was going to pick Shuck. So
that's why you're not allowed.
So I'm taking Vele here indirectly to pick Shuck, but I like the matchup. He got fed last week. He had 8 catches, like 90 yards, a touchdown. He did everything you want from him, every wide receiver, and like I said, they're going to be down a lot of these games. The passing game is going to be continued to be called on. So I think continue to see maybe low first halves and high second halves.
Sounds like a weatherman, but.
Yeah, maybe. Who
low
knows?
First half, high second half.
Yeah, man. Exactly. That's exactly what Vele is. He's the weather.
The weatherman. I like that. Speaking of great names, I'm going to go with my wide receiver start of the week. He's also on waiver wires right now. It's Isaac Tesla versus the Dallas Cowboys. Why did I emphasize that? Because his name is not Isaac Tesla. It's Isaac Tesla with 2 A's. And it's a very important distinction. Apparently, he doesn't want to be associated with Tesla. That's okay. This is his time to shine. He hasn't been able to get a lot of opportunities. Obviously, Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, they're all in front of him. Jahmyr Gibbs is always going to take a couple of targets as well. But guess what? We just mentioned 2 of those guys are already out due to injuries. They're going to need to rely on Tesla in order to win this game against the Cowboys. So I'm going to pair this with my Jared Goff start of the week. It's going to be a shootout. I expect it to be a shootout. Dallas is still a bad defense to wide receivers as well. Quinnen Williams is good for the rush defense and the pass rush, but it's not going to necessarily change who's covering these guys. And even though he's only had like 6 catches the entire year, 3 of them have been for touchdowns. He's the guy that they go to in the red zone. I think they're going to be able to do that again. I guarantee he's going to catch a touchdown on Thursday night.
Wow. Well, man, guaranteeing. I thought that was the next part, Matt.
Got a little premature. Called it a little early here. But touchdown guarantee. Tesla.
Okay, I'll put a lot of money on it then, Matt, if you say so.
Yeah, put everything on it.
The whole house?
Whole house.
Oof. Even my girlfriend?
I don't think you could do that.
All right. Well, with that being said, that takes us to our tight end touchdown guarantee. You know what it is. We're gonna pick 3 tight ends. They're all gonna be in the end zone. Put in a parlay. Smoke it. I don't know. It's gonna cash. This is easy. I'm looking at these 3 names and I just don't see how they don't score.
By the way, for legal reasons,
that's not gambling advice.
Don't sue us if it doesn't work.
We are not responsible.
Don't smoke it either.
I feel like I had to say that.
Yeah, with that being said, I don't know why we would go off that on a tangent like that, but Brenton Strange against Indianapolis. Why? It's just feeling it. Sometimes it's not about the logic. It's about the feeling. And the Jags have been playing good. The Colts have been playing bad. Their defense has looked very, very beatable. The offense has looked good. They made C.J. Stroud revert back to being a good quarterback. I don't see why not. The Jags can't continue to roll, and Brenton Strange is going to get in the end zone. I'm feeling it. I'm telling you.
I mean, even if the feeling, Colts are 4th worst right now against tight ends. So, I mean, you made a pretty good intuitive call right there, G. And you know who's also 5th worst? Miami. So give me Mason Taylor to bounce back. He's had a quiet couple of games, but I think he's going to score in the end zone as well against the Dolphins here. I think the Jets are a little bit more competitive now with Tyrod as quarterback. Who knew? Who knew that if you got a guy who could actually throw for more than 100 yards?
Focus. Touchdown, tight end guarantee. Not fucking hate on Justin Fields. All right, come on.
I could try that man too. Identity fraud as well, posing as quarterback when he's a running back. But yes, give me Mason Taylor.
And then speaking of teams that let tight ends go off, You're gonna go with Brock Bowers versus Denver Broncos, who just let Zach Ertz get 100 yards on them on Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football. Sorry. So Brock Bowers, he's been on a hot streak. He's looking like what he was last year. Geno Smith, that's his only target. Expect him to find him a lot, especially down the middle where he's a safety blanket. And I don't see why not Bowers with a touchdown.
That's crazy.
Hey man, that might be the best one.
I wonder why.
Hey, man.
I have a feeling about this Bowers kid, man. He could be something.
He's got potential, maybe.
Hufanga got nothing on him. Singleton, nothing.
Yeah, agreed. Well, that was our tight end touchdown guarantee. Have we ever been wrong about any of these yet?
No, I've checked perfect record. Don't check.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. I'm sure we were already that. Didn't need to. But going into our sits of the week, hey, look at our matchup here, Matt, or the guys we got. They're familiar with each other, played each other recently. I got Hurts against the Chargers. It's just a bad matchup. They're not looking good. It's bad momentum. And it's going to be a super heavy run game focused script, I feel like. The Chargers are already that. The Eagles are also one of the heaviest run usage teams in the league. Whether it's effective or not, ask Kevin Patullo. But that's not a good matchup. And I honestly would look at just waiver wire guys like Brissett or even, different Goff if he's available. I don't know who's available in your leagues, but to pick up and start over Hurts, I don't know. It's a really ugly matchup this week for what I feel like for Hurts.
Yeah, I got Hurts in a matchup on one of my teams, and I am glad I already clinched the 1 seed there because I do not want to start him. I think basically in games that Amazon Prime has had, he's had like hella turnovers. I don't know why exactly he only does it on Amazon Prime games, but I found that very interesting.
That is very interesting.
All right, and I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes. As you alluded to, G, these two guys are familiar with each other. These two guys should be on your benches this week versus the Houston Texans. He nearly had a 30-piece last time against the Cowboys, and I was the one who said to start Patrick Mahomes. I don't know, maybe I'm just the Mahomes whisperer here because I'm now telling you guys to sit him. I don't think the Houston Texans have allowed a top 12 quarterback performance to any quarterback so far in fantasy this season. They are that good. And DeMeco Ryans is a phenomenal defensive coordinator. And I think that Mahomes right now, I just don't see the offense clicking. They were able to click against the Cowboys, but everyone clicks against the Cowboys. We just said worst defense against quarterbacks. There's just been a little bit of something's been off in terms of their red zone offense. They haven't been able to trust it. Something's out of sync right now. And I just really don't like this matchup right now. So I know they're playing for their playoff lives, but I think they're going to get shut down against Houston. Sit Patrick Mahomes.
Wow, man, that's a shell shock. Hurts and Mahomes both on the bench, man.
Yep, it is going to be tough for those fantasy managers who are fighting for their playoff lives right now. Better pick up Jared Goff or Brissett. But speaking of the Arizona Cardinals and Brissett, I do like Brissett this week as a flex option or as a streaming option, but I do not like any of the Arizona Cardinals running backs against the LA Rams. So you're going to sit all of those running backs. Doesn't matter who they are at this point. Bam Knight, Michael Carter, Amari DiMercado, Trey Benson if he ever comes back, which I kind of doubt. Kyler Murray too. I think he's still playing COD right now. So
new COD is pretty fun. So
you see him online?
No, I haven't ran into the lobby. He's in the really sweat lobbies because he has nothing to do. I actually have work to go to every day.
There goes the interview. But Rams are one of the best teams right now against the running back. I think that Brissett, and they found something in this offense right now. Brissett is just a passing magnet right now. He's been able to kind of deliver quarterback one performances against any defense right now. This is not a fluke. He just looks better for the Arizona offense right now because he's getting these players the right targets that they need. So I just don't like the matchup. I know that they've been able to fall into the end zone at least once, but I can't even choose which one it's going to be. Is it going to be Michael Carter? Is it going to be Bam Knight? I don't know. I'm not willing to find out. This is an important week. I just don't want to risk it here.
Yeah, I couldn't trust any of those guys. Week before the playoffs, it's all about trust, right? 'Cause especially going into the playoffs, that's all it's going to be.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of tough matchups, yes, you're gonna listen to what I have to say. You're gonna sit Jonathan Taylor versus the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Crazy.
And don't worry, this is a crazy stat, but whenever Indianapolis Colts go to Jacksonville and play, it's never good at all, especially for Jonathan Taylor. Here are the stats when Jonathan Taylor plays at Jacksonville. Speaking from recent to least, at Jacksonville, 2023, 8 attempts, 19 rush yards. The game before that, 9 attempts, 54 yards, no touchdowns. The game before that, 15 attempts, 77 yards, no touchdowns. You see, the Jacksonville Jaguars have Jonathan Taylor's number for some odd reason whenever they play at Jacksonville. And I expect the same trend for this week. So you're going to sit him and call me crazy.
Crazy.
You're crazy.
Look, the numbers back it up. That's all I got to say. The stats don't lie. The numbers don't lie. You know, it's at Jacksonville.
You did add this little hypothetical, like this extra clause of at Jacksonville. Sure, I give it to you in Jacksonville, but in Indianapolis at the end of last year, he did go for 34 rushes for 177 rush yards and a touchdown. But that technically was in Indianapolis. So
that it was at home. All right, we're talking about at Jacksonville.
No one ever thinks about, oh my God, I have to go to Jacksonville. Like, it's not a thing.
Everyone thinks that. No one wants to go to Jacksonville.
They don't want to go to Duval.
I do like that you brought the historical data up, though. Good read. We'll see if it works, though.
All right, and then I'll go back to back for another Thursday night game. You're going to sit Jameson Williams versus the Dallas Cowboys. Look, it's been a roller coaster ride with Jameson Williams this whole season.
Mm-hmm.
He's had a 0-point game. He has boom or bust potential, and this week it's going to be another bust with versus the Dallas Cowboys. Even though Amon-Ra St. Brown is like probably aiding from injury and Sam Laporta is out with an injury. Look, I just think that Dallas Cowboys rush has gone so much better with their trade acquisition with Quincy Williams, whatever his name is from the Jets. They look so much better up front with the rush. So I expect Jared Goff to really more focus on running the ball with Sonic and Knuckles, and it's gonna be more focused, more run D focused with the script. So Jameson Williams bust.
Jeez, man, I can't believe it. I need JMO in a couple of leagues, man. I can't believe this one. I can't be true on this one, man.
He's so hard to trust. Even we tried to bench him in GNR's dynasty because he had a 0-point performance. I mean, that's just what you do. And then Amon-Ra went out and he just popped off. Like, it's so hard to know when the JMO game is going to happen.
Not for real.
Yeah.
It only takes one play too.
Yeah, it does. And I'm hoping he gets multiple of those. But I'm talking about one play type of receivers, man. That's the next guy I got to sit for this week is Worthy against Houston. I mean, Matt covered why the Houston defense is so good. They don't allow much for the quarterbacks. Mahomes not going to have much time to even throw the ball deep to Worthy. So we're looking at a lot of short passes to Worthy. Probably won't be going too far with the ball there. I think the left tackle is missing. Their right tackle might be out. That's not a good sign for the Chiefs. That pressure we saw Mahomes just runs around and tries to do crazy shit, and it just doesn't work usually. So I don't like this matchup at all. Matt, like I said, Matt covered most of that on why Houston's defense is so good. It applies to Worthy the most because I feel like he needs the most time. Like Mahomes needs the most time to get Worthy the ball. A lot of creative routes, a lot of weird gadget plays and stuff of that nature. Whereas Rice, who I thought about as my sit of the week, I just feel like there's a lot of ways he could get 8-9 catches just doing underneath routes. Right, That's not really Worthy's game. So I think that's unfortunate for Worthy this week. They won't have enough time to really take any deep shots and stuff.
I like it. And honestly, at this point, if you can't play Worthy in this game, the Chiefs have a pretty bad playoff schedule coming up. You might want to consider just outright cutting him. I'm a Worthy owner, and I am considering honestly cutting him at this point because I don't see a game where I can envision starting him at this point. So you got to make those decisions right now, free up a roster spot. So that's something to consider for sure. All right. And then I'm going to wrap things up here with our final sit of the week. We go into the tight ends. You are going to sit Oronde Gadsden the second against the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a tough one, honestly. He's one of those young men that showed a lot of promise, and he still does show promise. He's a good tight end, and I'm not going to knock that at all. But one, it's a tough matchup. Philadelphia is allowing the third least points to the tight end position at 4.4 points per game. But right now, honestly, things have kind of been declining for Gadsden ever since his hot start from weeks 7 through 9. I'm going to pull up this data here that shows that from weeks 7 through 9, Oronde Gadsden had an 82.8% route share. And ever since then, for the last 4 weeks, he's had a 61% route share. It's been going down steadily, and then the numbers have been evident. He's been averaging about 3.3 points per game in PPR. That's just not something you can rely on at this point. It's hard to be able to deal with it. Again, right before the playoffs, it gives you some uncertainty. I thought he was going to be a set and forget guy, but against this Eagles front, it's going to be tough. And then he gets Kansas City next week, where their defense is much better. It's going to be a very rough road for Gadsden owners for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, man. I remember maybe first when Gadsden popped up to the scene, I had him as my sit of the week, and you lost your mind. Now look at you. Now you're saying he's,
which game was that?
Where I said he was a sit of the week, and then you were like, "No way, you can't say that about Gadsden."
Well, it depends on which week you sat him, but
What
now that I say it, now it's right.
What if Trey Lance is playing?
What's that?
Then
what if Trey Lance is playing?
Then you should sit every Charger.
Start Trey Lance. That's what we should do, right?
Yeah, we start Trey, baby.
Yeah, Trey Lance the auto start, bro.
How you feeling, Gemmar?
Look, man, it was crazy. I was watching the game, and then I just saw Trey Lance pop on my screen. I was like, what the hell just happened to Justin Herbert? Because I didn't see him get hurt or anything. Then they show the replay. I was like, oh, no. And then I saw the x-rays. They showed the x-rays with, like, his finger, like, going sideways. Like, oh, that's pretty bad. I'm like, thank God it's not throwing hand. But, left hand, not throwing hand, I don't care. I'll give him all my fingers, all my hand parts. You need it, Justin? I got you.
I'm sure he'll get the message. All right, but that's our starts and sits for Week 14. As always, we will release our full list of starts and sits for every single matchup on Saturday afternoon on our social media platforms, so make sure to follow sports_council on Threads and on Twitter to see them, and then join our Discord as well. Link is in the bio to both of those, and you can ask your own fantasy football questions. It's personalized start-sit decisions that we will always look at in the Discord, and we will answer it. Super easy. You just put up a poll and we will be there, and we'll explain our rationale behind it. We always try to explain exactly why we believe in our start to sit decisions. So check it out. Sports_council. Link to the Discord is in the bio.
Thank you guys, man. It's an exciting week. I'll see what happens next week and who's here and who's not, huh?
Oh, man.
Depends on who's here.
Oh, my God. That's the last playoff push, bruh.
It's going to be an exciting week, man. I hope everybody makes the playoffs unless they're going against me to make the playoffs. Otherwise, I don't hope you make the playoffs, but otherwise, I do hope you make the playoffs.
I think I'm following.
Yep.
Right,
At the end of the day, the day ends. Yep.
Exactly. At the end of the day ends.
And on that note, we are going to sign off. But thank you so much, guys, for listening. Good luck with your final playoff pushes. We'll see you on the other side.